What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I don't know why I always feel I need to sing in the beginning of a video. So today I am going to walk through the process of how I maintain my brows. I'm gonna get up close and personal because I feel like to really understand how I kind of maintain these puppies and do them at home, I really need to kind of get in there, you know what I mean? This is basically my brows with, I'd say, about 3 to 4 weeks of not tweezing or threading or doing anything, which is a long time for me. I will maintain them every week and I thread them at home, I tweeze them, I do everything at home. But whenever I go get them done, two things happen. One, I always end up with scabs, which bug the crap out of me. And then second is they always make them so thin. So I'm just gonna show you guys what I do to really just, you know, keep up the brow. Well, let's get started, shall we? I do have 2 other videos also on threading that I have, which I will link down below. One that I did like I think 2 or 3 years ago, just randomly, and it's actually done amazingly well because I think a lot of people are really interested in threading and how it works. And then one that I was teaching my girl Susan Yara for her channel Mixed Makeup how to thread. So it was kind of one of those where I'm doing it on myself and then one showing my girlfriend. There are some great things that you can use at home, especially if you are very sensitive. So like you can use a numbing gel, which actually is baby Aura gel. It works amazingly well, I swear, especially if you're very sensitive around the upper lip area, or sometimes like right here or here, people can get really sensitive. So if you ice it or if you put the baby Aura gel, it works wonders. The second thing I like to do is I just make sure that I have, you know, if you have makeup on, just wipe it off. You're threading skin, so you're technically taking a layer off, and so you don't want to be pushing any makeup in there. So I'm going to be using a makeup wipe. So I usually use my Neutrogena. I'm going to be using thread. Now this thread is called Vanity. I got this several years ago from India. It's threading thread. The thread count is specific and I forgot which one it is, which I'll list below. Honestly, any thread can do. You can even use one out of your like mom's sewing kit or whatever it is. But this one specifically, I really like it because it's softer. It's like coated with some sort of wax, which is what they told me in India, and I like it because when I use it, I notice it's very soft and subtle on my skin. So I don't notice any tears or abrasions, which is huge for me. You can get this off Amazon too, which I will link below, and it comes in like, I think a dozen. So you're pretty much stocked. I got this, I think, over 6 years ago, and I'm still on like my 3rd roll, and I even give some away to people because it's good. And then I'm going to be using a pair of tweezers. Any tweezers can do. I personally love the tweezers. Now I've talked about this store several times. Daiso, it's a Japanese dollar store. You guys, the tweezers are like $1.50. Sometimes if you're getting fancy, they might charge you $3, but I'm not kidding you. They are the best tweezers I've ever used. Like better than Tweezerman, better than like any other ones I've ever found. And I'm pretty darn particular about my tweezers. Plus I will use a little spoolie. So that's what this is. You know, something to basically brush up your brows and brush down, just so that way you can kind of, if you don't like to cut the hair at the top of your brows or anything like that, then you obviously can bypass that. But it is a must for me. I've gotten a little bit less, like I'm not as, what's the word, precise about it, because I used to be super precise right here. I kind of like having a little bit more of that bushy look at the top now, so we'll see how I'm feeling. It's been a while. I definitely see up close that I need some of it. Do you see that? Look at that. Ooh. And then some scissors. These are again from Daiso. They're so good. I can't begin to tell you. Sometimes at Target I'll drop 10 bucks on a pair of these little baby scissors and you're like, 10 bucks for these baby scissors? You go to Daiso, I get like 6 pairs of these, and I think I need a new pair of tweezers right now, so I'm just going to open these ones. And at $1.50, honestly, I'm okay with, you know, just reusing them as frequently as I need to. But I love, do you see that angle? I don't know, I just love the grip of it, the angles, it works really well. I'm gonna stop talking about it because I talk about Daiso a lot. Daiso, if you're watching this, we need to get some sort of partnership going on because that's how much I use your stuff. Okay, so obviously you can use whatever mirror works for you. I'm using this little lighted one from Amazon that I have shown in stories before, but it has basically like magnifying on one side and the center is just there. So I did color in my brows earlier this morning. Here's one trick that I love to tell people, especially if you are scared of over tweezing, or sometimes you get a little too thread happy and you're just like, oh my gosh, you go overboard, is actually keep your brows filled in, and then this gives you a good direction as far as like, okay, do not go above this line, you know what I mean? So like here, my brows are not that thin. They still look generally just a little patchy, but I could keep it here and then I just know not to go above that. But I'm just gonna take all of this off so that way I can show you guys exactly what I do. So I'm gonna take this off plus the makeup kind of like in the middle, or like basically just all around my forehead, because I'm going to thread. And then I also take this and do it to my upper lip, because again, I'm going to thread this too. And this is pretty much the only places I thread. I do not thread the sides of my face or anything like that. A lot of people ask me that, and I don't. I have really sensitive skin, and it's something that I feel like would irritate me, so I just stay away from it. I will thread at the end, but I like to tweeze first. And so what I do is I'll kind of brush everything up, like so. I just brush all of the hairs up. You can see that right there. And then I like to clean the bottom. And I like to clean the bottom first with my tweezers. For me personally, threading at the bottom, right here, I'll only do when I just want to have like a large surface area. You know, it's like right here, I don't mind threading, but like up close here, I personally don't like to thread just because I like to get very precise. Personally, I'm always fearful that I'm gonna over thread that area. And usually what I do is I get up close to make sure like I get the hairs that I want, and then I push back just to make sure everything's even. And for me, I definitely have one brow, like this brow always is a little bit more full than this, so I'm cognizant of that. And I try to make them even, but I run into this issue where I want the brow to be fuller, like this side, and I also want them to be even, and this side isn't growing, so, you know, it's a bit of a little pickle there. And again, you can put the baby oil gel on or ice it. Or another thing that I like to do is right after I'm done is I put aloe vera on. Aloe vera gel helps so much. And you know, like people always ask me like, oh, you thread your own brows. I'm like, yes, I thread my own brows. I think it makes a world of difference, especially at the tops right here. When you have like all those little like baby hairs, and then even right here. And if some people like to thread their hairline, I do. A lot of people ask me about my hairline. I used to, here's a story about that. I actually got it lasered like years and years ago, and it was amazing. And then I started noticing a little bit of growth, like baby hair grow back. So then I went and got it done again. And the second time I did it, the lady like completely went way too high, and I was like, oh. I was like, this is not okay. I look like I have a receding hairline. So it took me like a year and a half to kind of get back to looking normal. And that's where I am now, so. I'll usually tweeze like the center parts here, just a little bit, rough tweezing, just priming basically. Any parts that I want to make sure I don't go too close with the threading, I'll tweeze like right here, just to make sure that the thread doesn't get in there. And then all this top part, I will save that for the threading itself. There we go, there we go. Okay, and I'm just gonna repeat the same thing on this side. All right, so there's that. Now, one thing I like to do is just, again, push up all these hairs. Okay, so now that I have the baseline kind of tweezed wherever I would want the precision parts, you know, where I don't want to actually thread, or I'm scared to thread, I will now brush up. And I'm going to just take my baby scissors, and I like to go pretty close to the top, but I don't like to cut all of that off, if that makes sense. So like, I go pretty close to the edge on this side, but once I get up here, I leave a little bit more of the strays, just because I kind of like that brushed up look. Okay, then you can also brush down. You know, this looks weird, but you can brush down and cut this part right here. And for the bottom parts, I don't like to cut too much because again, I like to have a little bit of that. But that's pretty much my groomed brow before I thread. Okay, then you're gonna take a piece of thread, and this thread is, I'd say, about 24 inches, right? So 24 inches, So 12 inches on each side. And then you're gonna just loop it and tie it like so. And what you're going to be left with is a round situation right here. See how my hand is on this side and it's on this side? I'm going to twirl, twirl, twirl. The more you twirl, the more this right here, the scissoring effect, these are the claws or the jaw right here that is going to remove the hair. This just takes practice. Then you turn these both around and you see that? That scissoring motion is going to be what is going to yank the hair out. For my upper lip, I go like that. And you remove the hair. I pretty much can do this in my sleep now, but if you are obviously a novice or you're learning, like, I like to take my tongue to against the skin. Yank. What I really love about this method too is that it's taking off a dead layer of skin, so your skin literally looks brighter after you're done. So now for the brow, I'm gonna show you guys this. What I like to do is I usually take this, and you see how I'm pushing the hair down? Just so I make sure I'm not purposely like taking away any other hair that I don't want. And then this is where, if you guys do like want to thread your hairline, you can go up and just kind of thread just a little bit like right there. I don't go too far or anything just because obviously I told you about my story. You can follow up with this with some aloe vera, which is really nice and soothing, or some ice or something like that, just to kind of help with any inflammation or redness, especially if you're going to be putting on makeup right after. I'm going to go in with a brow pencil. This is literally a drugstore brow pencil. This is LA Colors Browie Wowie brow pencil. I like that it has a spoolie on the end. You can also use this for the little action we did. General rule of thumb too, when you're filling your brows, you want to go just a smidge lighter if you're a brunette. If you're blonde, that's when you want to go darker. So I'll kind of just lightly stroke, almost like the same direction of the hair growths, and then following all the way down. And I'll just kind of like stroke just a little bit past my natural hairline. And then for the top, especially because this brow is a little bit thinner, I'll just take the same method I did and fill that top part in. And then for this front part, I will just flick it ever so lightly without fully filling in that bottom part. And then one thing you can do on top of that is you can take like a clear gloss. This is Glossier Brow Boy, so it's a colored one, but you can just go over it with this gel to help keep the brows in place, especially if you have a few unruly hairs. That just made a world of difference to me. And you'll see this side. I'm gonna do the same thing. This is what the end result is. I feel like when your brows are done, it really just helps frame your face. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, do let me know. I'm going to, again, list the previous brow videos I've done below. And I'm also gonna link that Daiso video, because ladies, if you have one near you, you gotta hit it up. Anyways, if you guys like this video, please do like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.